Hey guys, it's Sam with The Blind Life. Welcome back to the channel where I help you learn how to live your best blind life. Today I've got an interesting new product to show you guys. This is the RAZ Mobility Memory Phone. This phone is geared towards individuals with dementia, Alzheimer's, cognitive impairment, seniors that simply need an easy to use phone that just makes calls to a certain list of people, and that's it. It's a simple, easy to use, accessible cell phone for those communities that also features some low vision enhancements. So we're going to dive in and take a closer look at it. Hang on, we'll be right back. And this is the Memory Phone by RAZ Mobility. Now, I currently have the low vision mode turned on because that's one of the main things I want to feature, but I will switch it back here in a minute to show you how it comes by default. The Memory Phone is using a Motorola smartphone. Although it is an Android device, the user has no access to the Android operating system. You are locked in to the Memory Phone user interface. And once again, that's a good thing for the target market that this is geared towards. You only have 5 elements on the screen here. Along the top, we have the battery indicator, tells you how much battery you have. You have the clock in the center, and then to the right, it shows your connectivity status. Currently, it looks like I am connected full strength 4 bars to a 4G network. Regarding network, this works on all the major network carriers here in the US. For more information about that, I will leave all the contact links, website, all of that in the video description. You'll be able to do some research and get those answers. Then on the main screen here, we have a large red emergency 911 button. And below that, you have your contacts. By default, the phone is set up to display 6 contacts at once with the option to add up to 30 contacts. While it is in this low vision mode, large print, high contrast, low vision mode, you simply have 2 large buttons, contact buttons, displayed on the screen at one time. If we swipe up, it displays the next 2 contacts in our list and continuing on from there. And that is it. That is the only interaction I have with this device as a user. I can either call emergency 911 or I can call the contacts listed here. That's it. If I want to make a call, I simply press and hold the person's name. The call connects. I can talk to the person. Whenever I'm done, I can simply press the large red hang up button that's displayed on the screen. And that's it. That's literally all the user can do with this phone. But if you think about it, who this phone is geared towards, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's all they need to be able to do. Now, the real genius of this whole memory phone system is the companion app that runs on a caregiver's phone. So, although the user of the phone doesn't have any control over any of the aspects of it, the contacts, how it's displayed, any of that, all of that is done through the companion app and set up by the caregiver. So, let's take a quick look at the application to find out how it works. We have several different tabs at the bottom. The first one is labeled video, and this is how we can make a video call from the caregiver's phone to the memory phone. This obviously allows you to check in with the user of the phone, make sure everything is going okay, and it's a video call which tends to be much more personal for the user. The next tab is your contacts list, and this is how you can add and remove contacts that will show up on the phone. These are the contacts that your memory phone user will have access to and will be able to call. You can add the contacts, you can remove them, you can change the order that they will be displayed on the phone. This is great because you might want to put the most important contacts earlier in the list so that they show up on the main screen. When you're creating a new contact, you can add in a first name or a last name. I thought for the low vision mode, it might be best to just have a first name. That way it's big and prominent and easy to read. You can customize the way that the name is displayed against the background. So if the user of the phone prefers a certain high contrast color scheme, you can choose that. You can choose whether this contact is allowed to make a video call or if it can be available during quiet hours. So a lot of customizable options on here. Then you'll see that when I click save, the memory phone will be updated in real time. There we go. Being able to save colors like this could be very helpful for the user, especially if you did some different associations. Maybe Rachel's contact could be red. Brian's contact could be blue. A couple other tabs down at the bottom, you have a support tab, and this is how you can connect with RAZ Mobility and get help from them directly. You have a More tab, and this takes you into an area that gives you some other customizable options, as well as provides certain information about the phone that the caregiver might want to know. Things like the battery level. You also have a button that can get the current GPS location for the phone. That could be super helpful in an emergency situation. Then finally, you have a section for setting the quiet hours. So what hours of the day you want the memory phone to not be able to receive phone calls. And then an area to create reminders. And this is great. So the caregiver can set reminders that pop up on the phone and alert the user of the memory phone of that information. So these are very, very helpful. Imagine setting up a reminder for someone to take their medication. You can create a one-time reminder or a reoccurring reminder. And what's especially cool is you can create an audio message that will play when the reminder pops up on the phone. Another feature of the quiet hours is if the user tries to make a phone call during quiet hours, you can set it up to where the phone will play a specific audio message, a pre-recorded audio message. So you can imagine if they try to make a call, the audio message will play and say, "Grandmom, it's late, go back to bed. You can make this phone call in the morning," something like that. The final section I want to talk about is the settings area, and this is where you can customize a lot of aspects of the phone itself. Things like the ringtone, you can choose the ringtone, you can choose the background. So the background of the buttons here, if you want it dark like I have it, or you can have it light. You can limit incoming calls. You can have it automatically go to the speakerphone when a call comes in. You can even set it to automatically answer an incoming call. You can set it up to where the caregiver receives a text message when the battery falls below a certain percentage, and then the caregiver can reach out to the user and remind them to plug up the phone. You can also set it up to where the caregiver will receive a text message if the user calls 911. And then at the bottom, you have the option to toggle on the low vision mode or not. All right, I've set it back to the way that the memory phone comes by default, where you have just this grid of 6 photo circles with the contact person's name underneath. By default, you can't move these. They don't swipe at all. But as I said before, you can turn on the ability to have more than just this 6. And in that case, you just swipe up again to see the rest of the contacts. But once again, we still have the same 5 elements on the screen. You have a much smaller but still pretty good size red emergency button. And then you have the 6 photo contact buttons. Same exact thing. If I want to choose one, I just press and hold on it. It initiates the call, makes the call. You see the contact photo much larger. You see the name. And then at the bottom, we have a red hang up button. And one thing I like is that you can't just tap it and it works. You have to press it for about half a second before it triggers the action. You can choose whatever photo you want to associate with these contacts. Down here at the bottom, I chose some bright colors for a couple of these, just to, once again, indicate that this might be a good option for somebody with low vision that maybe still can't make out the photo. You could just have bright colors and then they might be able to associate that with a person. Now, you might be wondering what happens when you press the emergency button here. You get a little window that pops up asking to confirm, yes, do you want to call 911, yes or no? In this case, I'm going to say no, because I don't want to call them. But that will help a little bit with the accidental pressing of that button. And finally, you can get accessories for the memory phone. A couple case options. One is a simple black slip-on TPU style case. The other is a full coverage leather case. It covers the front and the back of the phone, has a little magnetic flap that attaches it, and even has a lanyard. And then the phone also supports wireless charging, and you can get a wireless charger. This is a great option. You don't have to deal with plugging the phone in to charge the battery. You simply just lay the phone down onto the wireless charger and the battery starts to charge. The price for the memory phone as it is listed on the website is $350. If you would like to learn more about the memory phone, I of course will have all the contact information listed in the video description down below. All right guys, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. If you want to send me a message, you can do that through my website, theblindlife.net. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I put out new content like this every single Saturday. You can also check out my podcast, The Blind Life Podcast, available on all the major podcast platforms. But that's it for this one, guys. As always, this is Sam with The Blind Life. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.